going to happen unexpectedly? How are you going to respond to it? That one is going to be determined by your integrity, by how you see life. Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
The room is quiet. I will open, for discussion. All right, now, so we are going to look at some of the principles that help me, to get out from this area to graduate school, to see if that principle may also help you, or may also help any of your friends or your brothers or sisters, because I believe that there are more that we don't know than what we know. The statement is, our ignorance is bigger than our knowledge. Our ignorance is bigger than our knowledge. So we have to do it. You have to keep the habit, the attitude of learning, so that we can do it, we can make our life better. All right, the first principle that helped me to get where I am right now is potential. The principle of potential. Potential. How many of you have heard about potential? Can you raise your hand, please? All right, good. How will you define potential, if you can? How will you define potential, please? If someone asks you what's potential, can anyone? Potential. Okay, all right. The dictionary, according to the dictionary, potential is capacity of being, but not yet. Capacity of what? Being, but not yet. Simply means what you can do, but you have not done. Who you are, but nobody knows it yet. How far you can go in life, but you haven't gone yet. This is what you mean by potential. It means hidden strength. It means unused ability. It means unused, untapped talent, untapped gift. The things that we have that we are not taking advantage of. Just like, picture me when I was, in grade school, in the debt. If somebody had told me that a time will come that I will be a teacher in America, I would have told the person, you were crazy. I wouldn't have believed it. Not knowing that when I was sitting in the debt, climbing the mountains with the firewood on my head, there was a teacher in me. I didn't know. So that's what potential is. Hidden strength, hidden ability, who you are, but nobody knows you yet. How far you can go. What you can do, but you haven't done it yet. That's the meaning of potential. Let's look at some of the traits, some of the facts about potential. Potential is like a tree trapped in a seed. Let's turn on the light. I have some demonstration that I can do for you to better understand this. Potential is like a tree trapped in a seed. So I brought this to help you to picture what I'm trying to say about potential. You said it's a tree. So I have here mango seed, and we are going to use this to represent mango tree. It's not mango tree, but we are using it too. All right. So we are saying the potential is why it's a tree trapped in a seed. You all know that inside the tree, inside the seed, you have what? Tree, right? Fruits. They are all what? In the what? In the seed. All right. So this is what you and me, this is how we look like. We are just seed. We have our potentials inside of us. What we can do is already what? Inside of us. How far we can go, who we can be, what we want to do in life is already what? Inside of us. The tree is not in the soil. The tree, the fruit is not in the soil. This means that what we can do is not in America. Who we can become is not in this school. Who you can become is already inside of you. Just as the tree is inside the seed. Now, how can we get this seed to produce the tree and the fruit? You have to put it what? In the soil. When you put it in the soil, it does what? It disciplines itself by killing itself, then it produces what? Tree. So you and me, if we want to release our potential, the talent, the gift, what we have to do, we have to discipline ourselves what? In the soil. What is our soil? The environment. It's our environment. The country that we live in is what? It's our soil. Now, if you put it right here, it's going to take forever. Although it's on the soil, it's going to take forever, and sometimes it may not even, the tree may not even come up. And that's what is happening. Most of us, we are just in America, not doing anything. For the seed to produce the tree, it has to discipline itself, killing itself before the tree comes out. So even though you are in America, living in the best country, until you discipline yourself for the gift, for the talent, for the potential, for how far you can go to come out, you are still going to be broke and sick, living in the street. So this seed will go downward in the soil. Now, what is in the soil? It takes the nutrients of the soil to release what is in the seed. The same thing applies to you and me. It doesn't just take the country. There are a lot of countries in the world. It takes the nutrients in the country to release what is inside of us. And what are the nutrients in this country? You have schools. You have what? You have counselors. You have teachers. You have what? You have administrators. These are the nutrients that you have to help you to release what is inside of you. Now, let me ask you this question. What if this seed starts cursing the soil? What is going to happen? Stop taking advantage of the soil. What is going to happen? Who can tell me? If the seed, decide not to use the nutrient of the soil, what is going to happen?
It'll stop growing.
It's going to die. It's going to die. You see, so you and me, instead of us to take advantage of the nutrients, we start talking about what? We start criticizing the school. We start talking about, blaming the teachers, blaming the lesson. They are the only thing that can help us to release what is inside of us. The soil, the nutrient in the soil is the only thing that can help to release what is inside. So if the seed blame the soil, the only thing that can help it to release its potential, then you are blaming what can help you to release your potential. Am I making sense? So if you start blaming the school, blaming the teachers, blaming the counselors, blaming the lesson, blaming the books, blaming the technology, the things that's supposed to help us, then we don't have anything to release what is inside of you. I hope you guys are taking notes. All right, now, so the same way that the tree can die inside the seed, you and I can live broke, though there's richness inside of us. And this is a fact. There are many people living in the streets, even though they have tremendous potential in them. They have richness, they have greatness in them, but living broke and sick. In America, I asked my students this morning when we met during the club meeting, mentorship program meeting, and good enough, about 12 students attended. I asked them, how many cars or houses can one own in America? Who can tell me? How many houses can you own in America? How many cars?
As many as you want.
As many as you want. As many as you want. You live in a country that you can have as many cars as you want. That you can have as many money as you want. You can drive as many cars, many houses as you want. You are dropped in the right environment, right country. And and if you end up driving land, it's whose problem? It's just like the seed trying to, blame the what? The soil. So you are what you decide, what you want to become. All right, another point. Having potential doesn't guarantee greatness. The fact that we have the tremendous, awesome ability, talent, gift, doesn't mean we are going to release it. It's just like the seed having the tree, the fruit inside of it and still lying down here, not utilizing the nutrients in the soil. So even though you live in America, and I've heard it so many times, I live in America. Well, you live in America, you got to check your wallet to tell me you live in America. You got to tell me, who you are. What is the evidence that you live in America? So you should be able to do what? You should be able to let your lifestyle tell people that you live in America, not your West. Okay, let's move to the next one. The second principle that helped me is philosophy. Philosophy. Philosophy means the way you think. Philosophy means the way you think. Philosophy means what? Philosophy means the way you think. It's your personal values, what we call personality, or your personal beliefs about life, how you define life. That is what philosophy is. Philosophy is your mental conditioning that you interpret what you see, what you touch, what you hear. That's what philosophy is all about. So how you see life and how you interpret it is what is meant by philosophy. Philosophy is just like a constitution. Philosophy is like a constitution. It governs your life. Every country has a constitution, and the constitution is what determines or drives or controls the nation. The president, the government can't do anything that contradicts the constitution. So the constitution is the philosophy of America as a nation. And that is what controls the president. Whatever the president is going to do, if it violates the constitution, he won't do it. The same thing applies to you and me. Everyone on this planet has a philosophy, just like every country has a philosophy. Those in the White House, they have philosophy that control their life. Those in the business community, they have philosophies that control their life. They have values, personal values that control their decisions. The teachers have philosophies that control their decisions that they make. The principals, the administrators, they all have philosophies, including you and me. We all have philosophies that control our life. The way we think. And our philosophy may be different from my philosophy. And it controls our attitude and behavior. And this is the reason why what is good for you may not be good for me. You know, I teach chemistry. And in my class, about 50% hate chemistry. And the same 50%, another 50% will love it. One time during last semester, we were doing lab, and after explaining the lab, one of the students, female students, said, "Mr. Kofi, do you know something?" And I said, "No, unless you tell me." "Do you know that you are my favorite teacher?" I said, "Oh, I didn't know that, thank you." And that same moment, a male student said, "No, Mr. Kofi is not a good teacher. I'm the same person, the same class, the same lesson that I've been teaching them all the time. How come that they have different perspectives? It's the way they do it, they think." And this is what I'm going to leave it to you. Just can write it down. You cannot be greater than your mind. You cannot be greater, cannot be bigger than you are, than the way that you think. So the way that you think dictates your attitude and your behavior. Where you want to be is just like it dictates and directs your behavior. So if you don't like who you are, what you do is you change your behavior, you change the way that you think. And when you change the way that you think, you will determine your behavior. So if you take your grades and you don't like the grades that you have, what do you have to do? You don't blame the lesson. You don't blame the school. You don't blame the teachers. You change the way that you think. So if I ask you, what is your philosophy about school? You should be able to tell what you think about school. If I ask you, what's your philosophy about this class? You should be able to tell your philosophy, your values, your personal beliefs about this class. If I ask you, what is your philosophy about the grades, your goal? I'm going to get one, I'm going to get A, I'm going to get B. And what does it take? My philosophy tells me that to pass this class, I will have to pay attention, stop talking. That is my philosophy. Therefore, this is going to dictate your attitude. But if you have the wrong philosophy, that you can do well, pass the class by talking, being on the phone, is going to also dictate your attitude, the way that you respond to lectures. So philosophy is another key that helps me a lot. Let's go to number 3. Purpose. Purpose. Purpose simply means the reason of creation. Purpose means the reason for creation. anything created or made has purpose, has a reason. Anything created has a reason, and anything that has reason has purpose. Your cell phones, they have purpose. Your watch has purpose. Your shoe, they see that the chairs, they have purpose. Everything created has purpose. Therefore, you and me, we have what? We have purposes. Everything created, this has a purpose. This has purpose. Everything has a purpose. And the purpose is what makes everyone to have life or to have a meaningful life. Without purpose, life has no meaning. Without purpose, life has no joy. Without purpose, life is meaningless. Just imagine the last time that you came to school, you came to class, and there was nothing for you to do. No? It was very bored, right? Yeah, that is what purpose is. Purpose gives you what? Reason. All right, purpose is what? It's also the reason for existence. It's the reason why something exists, something continues to exist. So, if it's the reason for existence, why something exists, then anything that continues to exist has what? Has purpose. For example, when you go to Walmart, the food shelves, everything on the shelves, they all have what? They all have purpose. Everything. Yeah, because they continue to exist. And if their purpose stops, what you do? You throw them away. If it expires, you throw them away. Just like your cell phone. Your cell phone, the fact that you continue to use it is evidence that it still has a purpose, that you are still using it. If its purpose stops, you are going to do what? You're going to stop using it. You will throw it away. Won't you do that? So when purpose dies, do what? You get rid of that thing. So the fact that you and me continue to live is evidence that our purpose is still available to us. If your food expired, just like yesterday, when I got up and my milk expired 22nd, which was yesterday. So when I saw it, that has expired, I did what? I threw it away. Because what has expired, there's no reason. Everything that exists still has a purpose. All right, the third point, purpose is why something is. Purpose is why something is. I am who I am, where I am, doing what I'm doing because of what? Purpose. You are who you are, where you are, doing what you are doing because of what? Because of what? Purpose. All right, now I have a question for you. What is the purpose for school? To do what? To learn. What's the purpose of entering the classroom? To do what? The purpose of entering the classroom is what? To learn. All right, good. We just said when purpose stops, we throw that thing what? Away. So if you enter the classroom and you stop learning, what should you do? Yeah. You should kick you out. Huh? That is what it is. When there is no purpose, life has no meaning. There's no reason for being there. If the food expires, there's no reason to keep it on the shelf. If your cell phone stops working, there's no reason for keeping it. So if a student enters the classroom and he won't learn, then what do you have to do? We have to keep that student out. You see, so the fact that a teacher allows you to sit in the classroom, still talking, you should appreciate the teacher and say, thank you. When I was off task, you prompted me and brought me back on task. Why? Because the little things, I have a principle that I call law of accumulation. Whatever that you do, always accumulate, and at the end, you pay the price of it. So when you become aware that you have a purpose for where you are, what you are doing, you're going to be what? You're going to be very conscious, you're going to be very careful, and appreciate those who help you to get what? To be on task. One of the questions that people ask is, how can I discover my purpose? That's one of the biggest questions that people ask. How can I discover my purpose? I will not go into detail for the sake of time, but if you want to know more about all of these, again, I'm just giving you the brief. If you want to learn more about each one, I encourage you to join our mentorship program, and you get a chance to know details All right, so to give you the brief way of